Harry Kane's role for England has become one of the biggest tactical debates heading into this World Cup. Every time England struggle to create chances, the same question comes back. Should Kane really be dropping into midfield when he is one of the deadliest finishers in world football? Shouldn't England's captain be staying inside the box, waiting for service, and doing what he has done better than almost anyone in his generation? It is a fair question. Kane has built his career on goals, and when England need a breakthrough, fans naturally want their best scorer as close to goal as possible. But Thomas Tuchel appears to see things very differently. For the England manager, Kane dropping deep is not a problem to fix. It is a weapon to build around. And that is where this debate gets really interesting. Because while some supporters worry that Kane moving away from the penalty area reduces England's goal threat, Tuchel seems convinced it can actually make England more dangerous. Not only because Kane can create chances for others, but because his deeper movement can help him arrive in better scoring positions himself. To understand why Tuchel is so committed to this idea, you have to look at what Kane has been doing at Bayern Munich. This past club season was not just good, it was outrageous. Kane scored 61 goals in 51 games for Bayern, the most prolific campaign of his club career. That kind of return would be unbelievable for any striker, but it becomes even more impressive when you consider the role he was asked to play. This was not Kane standing on the shoulder of the last defender every week, waiting for crosses and tap-ins. At Bayern, he was often heavily involved in the build-up. At times, he dropped incredibly deep, almost into areas usually occupied by midfielders or even fullbacks. He became more than a number 9. He became a connector, a passer, a creator, and still somehow remained one of the most dangerous finishers in Europe. That is the version of Kane England fans should be paying attention to. Not the idea of Kane dropping deep and abandoning the box, but the reality of Kane dropping deep, pulling defenders around, linking play, and then arriving late to finish moves. It is a more complete version of his game, and it is one Tuchel clearly believes can work for England at the World Cup. At Bayern, this role became even more important because of Jamal Musiala's injury problems. When Musiala is available, he naturally links midfield and attack. He can receive the ball between the lines, turn under pressure, drive forward, and connect everything. Kane himself has explained that when Musiala plays, the balance is different because Musiala can take on that responsibility of receiving from defenders and carrying the ball forward. But with Musiala missing for long periods, Bayern needed another solution. Kane became that solution. He dropped deeper, used his passing range, turned with the ball, and found runners ahead of him. Then, after helping start the attack, he would make his way back toward the box or arrive on the edge of the area with space to shoot. That is the key point many people miss. Dropping deep does not mean Kane stops being a goal threat. In Bayern's case, it made him a different type of goal threat. Instead of standing still between center backs and waiting to be marked, he forced defenders to make uncomfortable decisions. Follow him, and you leave space behind. Stay in shape, and you give Kane time on the ball. That dilemma is exactly why Tuchel wants England to use him this way. When Kane drops deep, opposition defenders have a problem. If a center back follows him, space opens up in the heart of the defense. That space can then be attacked by runners from wide areas or midfield. If the center back does not follow him, Kane becomes the free man. And giving Harry Kane time to turn and pick a pass is dangerous, because his passing from deep is not just decent for a striker. It is genuinely elite. This is why Kane's role can transform the shape of an attack. He pulls opponents out of position without needing to sprint past them. He creates gaps simply by moving into areas where defenders do not want to go. He gives England an extra player in midfield during build-up, and he has the vision to punish teams that leave him alone. We have already seen similar ideas work at the highest level. Paris Saint-Germain used Ousmane Dembélé in a roaming false 9 role during their Champions League-winning campaign, and it caused major problems for teams trying to mark him. The moment a forward drifts away from the traditional striker zone, defenders have to decide whether to hold their line or chase. Either choice creates risk. Bayern also benefited from having a high-energy left winger in Luis Diaz, a right-footed player who could attack the space created when Kane dropped deep. PSG had a similar threat with Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, another dynamic winger who could burst inside and punish defenders. Diaz scored 26 goals during the season, while Kvaratskhelia scored 19. That tells you how valuable those wide runners can be when the central striker drags defenders away. This explains why Tuchel has selected players like Anthony Gordon and Marcus Rashford for England. Both fit that direct left-wing profile. They can run beyond defenders, attack central spaces, and turn Kane's deeper movement into actual danger. If Kane drops and takes attention with him, Gordon or Rashford can attack the gap. If defenders stay deep to protect against those runs, Kane may receive the ball with time to dictate play. That is the tactical balance Tuchel appears to be chasing. Kane is the brain of the attack, surrounded by runners who give him options and stretch the pitch. But the big question remains, how does this help Kane score more goals? Because creating space for others is valuable, but England still need their captain to be a finisher. They need the Harry Kane who can decide tight games. They need goals, not just clever movement. The answer is that Kane's deeper role can help him find better shooting positions later in the move. It sounds strange at first, because moving away from goal should logically make scoring harder. But Bayern's season showed the opposite. By dropping away from the defense during build-up, Kane helped move opponents around. Then, when the ball progressed quickly, he often arrived into space at exactly the right moment. This is all about push-and-pull football. The attacking team tries to drag the opponent into one area, then exploit the space that appears somewhere else. When Kane drops deep, defenders may step up. That creates space behind them for others. But when England or Bayern move the ball forward quickly, defenders retreat toward their own goal. That creates space in front of the back line, and that is where Kane can become deadly. A lot of Kane's goals have come from this kind of delayed arrival. Instead of being tightly marked inside the 6-yard box, he appears near the edge of the area with time to shoot. Those shots might come from slightly further out, but Kane's ball striking is so clean that those positions are still extremely dangerous. Give him a yard, and he can find a corner. Give him time to set himself, and he can punish you from distance. This is why Tuchel's squad makes more sense when you look at it through the Kane lens. There were questions when some big names were left out. People pointed to the absence of players like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Cole Palmer, and Adam Wharton and wondered whether England had lost too much passing quality from deep. Those are fair concerns because all three offer technical ability in different ways. But Tuchel appears to be building a different structure. John Stones can help provide passing from center back, and Kane himself becomes a major passer from deeper areas. Instead of relying only on midfield technicians to break lines, England can use Kane's movement and distribution as part of the build-up. Around him, Tuchel has selected athletic players who can run, press, arrive in the box, and maintain intensity. That includes Gordon, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Nico O'Reilly, Noni Madueke, and others who can attack space in different ways. The idea seems clear. If Kane leaves the penalty area, England must make sure other players are constantly entering it. That was not always the case in previous England teams. Kane has dropped deep before, but England have not always had the balance around him. Sometimes he would come toward the ball, and nobody would run beyond him. Sometimes he would create the pass, but the attacking structure would become too static. That made his movement look like a problem, when the real issue was the lack of runners around him. Tuchel seems determined not to repeat that mistake. This squad looks designed to make Kane's movement useful rather than frustrating. If Kane drops, someone must run. If Kane pulls a defender out, someone must attack the gap. If Kane receives between the lines, he must have options ahead of him. That is the entire logic. The selection of Anthony Gordon and Noni Madueke also fits another part of the plan. Both can carry the ball aggressively. When a winger beats a defender down the line or drives toward the penalty area, the opposition often has to retreat quickly. That can create the space in front of the box where Kane thrives. The same applies when runners from midfield burst beyond the striker. Bellingham, Rodgers, Rice, and O'Reilly can all make those forward movements. So England are not just building around Kane as a finisher. They're building around Kane as a system. That might sound risky, especially in a World Cup where conditions can be difficult. The heat and humidity may make a high-running, high-intensity squad harder to manage. But Tuchel has also selected players with matching profiles, meaning he can rotate without changing the entire style of the team. That could become crucial as the tournament goes on. England may need fresh legs, especially if they go deep and face extra time or short turnarounds. And that is another reason Kane's intelligence matters. At 33, he may not be the player who presses like a young striker for 90 minutes every 3 days. But his game has never depended purely on speed. It depends on timing, awareness, technique, finishing, and decision-making. Those qualities can survive tournament pressure if England use them correctly. The real danger is if England misunderstand the role. Kane cannot drop deep just for the sake of it. His movement must trigger action around him. If he comes short and the wide players stay wide, the midfielders stay still, and nobody attacks the box, then England lose their focal point. But if the structure works, Kane can become the player who breaks games open before finishing them himself. This is where Tuchel's challenge becomes huge. He has to convince the players, the fans, and possibly even the media that Kane dropping deep is not England being negative. It is not England taking their best scorer away from goal. It is England trying to create a more unpredictable attack. Against weaker teams, England may dominate possession and need Kane's passing to unlock a deep block. Against stronger teams, they may need his ability to hold the ball, relieve pressure, and release runners quickly. In both cases, his deeper role can have value. But the pressure will come quickly if England fail to score. The first time Kane drops into midfield while a cross goes into an empty box, fans will react. The first time England are chasing a goal and Kane is seen near the halfway line, the debate will return. That is unavoidable. England supporters have seen this pattern before, and many are understandably nervous about it. Tuchel will know that, but he also has the evidence of Bayern's season. Kane scored 61 goals while playing this freer role. That is the strongest argument available. If a striker can produce the best scoring season of his club career while dropping deep, then maybe the movement is not the problem. Maybe the key is building the right team around it. And England may now have the players to do exactly that. Bellingham can run beyond Kane and arrive in dangerous areas. Rice can drive from midfield and attack space. Gordon can sprint behind defensive lines. Rashford can make direct runs from the left. Maduk can force teams back with his dribbling. Stones can step forward from defense. O'Reilly can make off-ball runs from fullback. These are the pieces Tuchel wants to use around his captain. If it works, England could become very difficult to defend against. Opponents would not be able to simply mark Kane in the box. They would have to track his movement, stop runners, protect central spaces, and close down shots from the edge of the area. That is a lot to manage, especially over 90 minutes in tournament conditions. The bigger picture is simple. England are trying to win the World Cup, and to do that, they need the best version of Harry Kane. Not the version fans imagined from 5 years ago. Not the version that simply stands between center backs and waits. The best version right now may be the Bayern version. The striker who drops, passes, dictates, arrives, and still scores at a ridiculous rate. Tuchel has made his choice. He wants Kane involved in the build-up. He wants him deeper at times. He wants England's runners to attack the spaces he creates. And he wants the whole squad structured around making that work. The debate will not disappear. Every England match brings scrutiny, and every tactical decision involving Kane becomes a national conversation. But Tuchel's thinking is clear. If England are going to go all the way, they're not going to use Kane as just a penalty box striker. They're going to use him as the central piece of the entire attack. And if the Bayern version of Harry Kane turns up at this World Cup, England might not just have a goal scorer leading the line. They might have the most complete attacking weapon in the tournament.